You wake up before the alarm, not because you are rested, because your brain already knows what the day costs. Mortgage, car payment, insurance, groceries that somehow cost twice what they did 3 years ago. A credit card balance quietly growing in the background like mold behind a wall. Your paycheck is coming, but the money is already gone. This is the salary trap. And if you rely on a paycheck alone, the system has already decided how your financial story ends. Let me explain. You were taught that a salary means security, stable job, reliable income, predictable life, work hard, climb the ladder, earn raises, retire someday. But the math behind the salary system was never designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to make you dependent. The trap begins with something simple: time for money. You trade hours of your life for income, 40 hours a week, sometimes 50, sometimes 60. But your income is capped. No matter how good you are at your job, there are only so many hours you can sell. That means your financial ceiling is predetermined. Meanwhile, the system around you has no ceiling at all. Inflation keeps rising, taxes quietly expand, asset prices, homes, stocks, land grow faster than wages. You are running on a treadmill that slowly speeds up every year, and the worst part, you barely notice it happening. Let's run the numbers. Imagine you earn $80,000 a year. Sounds comfortable, right? Now subtract taxes, federal, state, payroll. Suddenly, you're closer to $60,000. Now subtract housing. In many places, that's $2,000 per month or more. That's $24,000 a year. Now you're down to $36,000. Transportation, insurance, utilities, food, medical costs. Suddenly, your comfortable salary leaves maybe $500 or $800 per month in breathing room. And that's before emergencies, before a broken transmission, before layoffs, before interest rates spike, before the economy decides to remind everyone who's really in control.
You see, the salary trap isn't just about income, it's about control. If your income comes from one source, your entire life rests on one decision you don't control. A manager, a company, a market cycle, a cost-cutting meeting happening in a conference room you will never see. And when layoffs happen, they rarely feel dramatic at first. You don't hear alarms, you hear phrases: restructuring, strategic alignment, downsizing. One meeting, 10 minutes, security escort, and suddenly your entire financial structure collapses. Bills keep coming. Debt doesn't pause. The landlord doesn't care that your employer eliminated your position. Your salary was your oxygen supply, and someone just turned off the valve. But the trap goes deeper, because even when the salary stays, another system is quietly draining you. Lifestyle inflation. Every raise becomes a bigger apartment, a nicer car, a better phone, streaming services, subscription software, delivery apps, small expenses that feel harmless individually, but together they create something dangerous. They increase your burn rate, your financial survival speed. If your lifestyle requires $5,000 a month to maintain, you must keep earning $5,000 every month just to stay alive financially. You are not building wealth, you are feeding a machine, and the machine must be fed constantly. This is why so many people earning six figures still feel broke. The trap scales upward. Higher income, higher spending, same dependency. The system doesn't punish this behavior, it encourages it, because a consumer economy depends on predictable spenders. If you save aggressively and buy assets instead of products, you become unpredictable, and the system hates unpredictability, so it nudges you gently back toward consumption. Credit cards make spending painless. Loans make expensive purchases feel manageable. Buy now, pay later turns financial decisions into emotional impulses. But debt has a hidden psychological trick. It steals your future income.
When you finance something, you are promising future labor to pay for past decisions. You haven't even worked the hours yet, but the money is already spent. Your future self is now an unpaid employee of your past self. And the system loves this arrangement, because a worker with debt is a worker who cannot walk away. A worker with no savings and 3 monthly payments will tolerate almost anything. Long hours, toxic bosses, stagnant wages. Fear becomes leverage, and leverage keeps the salary trap locked. Now, here's where things start to change, because the system has one weakness. It assumes you will keep playing the same game. But the moment you understand the mechanics, you can begin to shift the structure of your money. The first shift is psychological. You stop thinking like an employee, and you start thinking like a cash flow engineer. Instead of asking, how do I earn more money? You ask, how do I build income that does not require my time every hour? This is where wealth begins, not with luck, not with a lottery,
with income separation, multiple streams. The simplest version often starts small. A skill, a service, a digital product, a consulting niche, something that earns outside your primary job. At first, it feels insignificant, maybe $200 per month, maybe $500, but something powerful just happened. Your survival no longer depends on one pipeline. You now have two, and two pipelines are exponentially safer than one because if one collapses, the other continues flowing. This is how financial resilience begins, not with millions, with redundancy. Over time, these additional streams can evolve. Investments, dividend stocks, rental income, online businesses, licensing intellectual property, even automated digital assets that sell while you sleep. The goal is not instant escape. The goal is gradual independence. Every dollar earned outside your job weakens the salary trap because each dollar reduces your dependence on someone else's permission. Now, let's talk about assets.
This is where most people misunderstand wealth completely. Assets are not luxury items. A car is not an asset if it loses value every year. A house is not always an asset if it drains cash flow. An asset is something that pays you, something that generates money whether you work or not. Stocks, businesses, royalties, rental property, digital products. These assets have one incredible property. They scale. You can only work 24 hours in a day, but an asset can earn money for decades. The wealthy understand this deeply. That's why they spend their time building or buying systems that produce cash flow, while the salary trap keeps workers trading hours for survival. And here's the brutal truth. The earlier you escape the trap, the easier wealth becomes, because of something powerful, compounding. Money that earns money begins to multiply. Slowly at first, then faster, then shockingly fast. $1,000 invested today can become several thousand years later without additional effort. But if you wait 10 or 15 years to begin investing, you lose the most powerful phase of compounding, time. And time is the only asset you can never buy back. This is why the salary trap is so dangerous. It consumes decades. People wake up at 45 or 50 and realize they traded the majority of their life energy for a financial structure that never created freedom. And by then, the runway is shorter. Retirement looms, health expenses grow, energy declines. But if you recognize the trap early, everything changes. Because escaping the salary trap doesn't require a miracle. It requires awareness, then discipline, then patience. You begin controlling your burn rate, spending less than you earn. You begin redirecting surplus money into assets. You build small income streams that grow over time. You protect yourself against single-source risk. And slowly, quietly, the trap weakens. At first, nothing feels different. You still go to work. You still earn a salary, but behind the scenes, your financial structure is evolving. Your assets begin producing income. Your savings buffer grows. Your optionality increases. Then one day, something subtle happens. Your job becomes a choice instead of a necessity. And that moment changes everything. Because the system only traps people who believe they have no alternatives. The moment you build alternatives, you regain leverage. You negotiate differently. You think differently. You live differently. The salary trap loses its power, and the system can no longer keep you broke. But here's the warning. The trap never disappears completely. Inflation will keep rising. Markets will crash. Predatory financial products will keep appearing. Economic cycles will keep testing everyone. Financial resilience is not a destination. It's a discipline, a continuous process of protecting your income, growing your assets, and maintaining independence from systems that prefer dependency. Because at the end of the day, the most dangerous financial belief in the world is this: my job will take care of me. It won't. The system never promised that. It only promised a paycheck, and a paycheck alone has never created real wealth. But if you understand the trap, if you begin building assets, if you treat income like a system instead of a salary, then something extraordinary happens. You stop running on the treadmill, and you start building the machine.
The salary trap is keeping you stuck. Relying on one income source is one of the biggest financial risks today. If that income disappears, everything is at risk. You just learned how all of this is connected. The fastest way out of the salary trap is building a second income stream. I put the exact tools to get started in the description. Don't overthink it. Just pick one and start.